The Kettleers had title number 17 in their sights at Lowell Park today after taking Game 1 in extras last night, hoping to win the Arnold Mycock Trophy in Cotuit for the first time since 1995. With the momentum from last night's marathon victory on their side, the Kettleers hope to vanquish the Mariners for their 6th win in a row in the 2019 playoffs. The offense that had scored 50 runs through the first 6 playoff games continued to do their part early on, when Matt Mervis, the second Kettleer to bat in the game, took Connor McCullough deep to left field, admiring the bomb that left his lumber at over 100 miles per hour and soared over 400 feet to crash down in the woods behind the fence. The relentless offense continued just 2 batters later, when Casey Schmidt demolished a high fastball from McCullough, pulling it to left for a no-doubter where he hesitated to admire his work as the Cotuit fans cheered for the long ball and the Mariners gawked at their early 2-0 deficit. Cotuit was determined to keep Harwich far away from their lead while on defense too, as Cody Pasek once again showed off the lightning-fast pop-up and gunned down a stealing Harwich runner by a mile in the second inning. In addition, Cotuit's Sean Sullivan was continuing to prove why his teammates voted him the team's most valuable pitcher, as he fanned a Mariner batter to end the third and leave Harwich scoreless through 3. In the bottom of the 4th, Casey Schmidt stepped up for his second at-bat of the game, but the result was no different than that of the first. He showed he had McCullough's number as he cranked his second high, deep drive of the game off the righty, and it fell amongst the raucous fans and left for his second solo home run of the game and a 3-0 Cotuit lead. Later in the 4th, Cotuit loaded the bases for Dante Williams, who lined a single back up the middle that would bring Colton Kessler around to score easily from third and put Cotuit up by 4. However, Harwich showed a little fight in the 5th, and in doing so made this game a bit more interesting. Riley Torota took Sean Sullivan deep to left center field with a low line drive home run that snuck over the fence to give Harwich their first run of the game. A few batters later, Nico Kavadas would recapture a bit of his regular season self with his first dinger of the postseason, which was a ball he hung out to opposite field that seemed to just stay in the air until it dropped over the left field fence, stunning the Cotuit crowd and reducing Cotuit's lead to only 2. But in the bottom of the 5th, after Carson Seymour subbed for McCullough on the mound, it was a combination of the mighty Cotuit bats coming alive and a completely uncharacteristic collapse from the usually consistent Harwich pitching. Cotuit loaded the bases on a single, a hit by pitch, and a walk for Parker Chavers, who flew a ball deep enough into center field for a sac fly that would bring Matt Mervis home from third. In the next at-bat, the Harwich catcher would allow a high pitch to get away from him, and Casey Schmidt recognized this, put his head down, and charged for home, sliding in just ahead of the tag for Cotuit's 6th run. Harwich followed this run with another pitching change, but the first batter the new hurler faced, Dante Williams, would ground a ball between the first and second baseman to bring Colton Kessler around to score. The next batter, Cody Pasek, would ground a single of his own to the exact same location, and the ball would roll past the infield to enable Adam Oviedo to score. And it's starting to sound like a broken record, but Nick Gonzalez would follow Pasek's single with one of his own, the 3rd straight ground ball to thread the needle between first and second to bring a runner home and make it 9-2 Cotuit. Lo and behold, the 4th consecutive single of the inning would be off the bat of Matt Mervis, who grounded it just past the first baseman's glove to bring Cotuit's 10th run of the game around and give the Kettleers an 8-run lead. The Kettleers could now play comfortable baseball with their hefty lead, but Sean Sullivan kept his foot on the gas pedal and remained remarkable, working a 1-2-3 6th inning that culminated in a strikeout. Sullivan did give up one more run in the 7th when Sean Harrington singled to bring a base runner home, and by then Coach Roberts concluded that Sullivan had done his job. He walked to the mound and pulled Sullivan for Nick Jones, expressing his pride in Sullivan's performance before Sean walked off the field to thunderous applause from the Cotuit faithful and congratulations from his teammates, ending his day having gone 6 2/3 with 5 Ks, 8 hits, and 3 runs. In the 8th inning, time was running out for Harwich, so they made the decision to send a runner home on a Mike Ludwig single, but in doing so, Harwich made the mistake of testing the arm of Parker Chavers in left, and as Cotuit fans could predict, his cannon of an arm would not fail him as he gunned the ball home to Cody Pasek, who would tag the runner for the 3rd out and send a roar down the Cotuit side. Now only 3 outs away from championship number 17, Coach Roberts called upon one of his most trusted arms in Casey Schmidt to close out this game. Casey threw 7 balls before getting his first strike, however, but against his second batter faced, he worked his way back from a 3-0 count to get him swinging for a remarkable putout. With just 2 more outs needed for the championship victory, the Kettleers got them in quick succession thanks to second-year shortstop Adam Oviedo, who snagged the line drive for out number 2 and stepped on second for the unassisted double play that would seal the victory and send the Mariners packing. With that, the Cotuit Kettleers were crowned the 2019 Cape Cod Baseball League champions, with this title marking a record-extending 17th championship for the ball club, its first since 2013, its first at home since 1995, and its third under the tutelage of longtime head coach Mike Roberts. And as the victory pig pile formed and dispersed, the championship hats and t-shirts were handed out, and the trophy ushered to the center of the diamond, it just felt like destiny for this team who had only gone 500 in the regular season and who had struggled through some dismal losing streaks to finally raise the Arnold Mycock Trophy. Although it may not have shown in the regular season record, from day one this team had displayed a unique sense of camaraderie, teamwork, and a pure love of the game that had allowed them to flip a switch and become completely and utterly dominant in the playoffs. Every Kettleer did their job at the plate en route to Cotuit crushing their opponents offensively, and every pitcher did their job on the mound to stymie the offense of whoever they faced. Casey Schmidt, who was awarded the Finals MVP trophy, had done both of these things extremely well throughout the playoffs. There is no end to the 2019 Kettleer season more satisfying than this, and as this special group of players leave Cape Cod, looking ahead to school ball or maybe even pro ball, they will be remembered in the village of Cotuit for playing Cape Cod ball and being the best ones to do so in the summer of 2019. With that, there's nothing more than to send you to Coach Roberts, who spoke with us after the game. So signing off for the very last time for the 2019 Cape Cod Baseball League champion Cotuit Kettleers, I'm Jacob Cohen.
Up top of the stands at 6 a.m., sun coming up. I have the panoramic on my phone. Well, I took my own panoramic, and I just wanted to look at, there wasn't an empty seat anywhere. 600 people there, 400 here, 2,000 deep and around the field. I have a lifetime picture of this championship game in this beautiful Norman Rockwellish ballpark.
The bullpen was a little worn out after last game. 15 innings. I mean, which bullpen isn't going to be worn out? Sean Sullivan steps up. Game 2, you win. You're the champion, facing a really, really good starter from Harwich. He outduels him. Just how impressed were you with Sullivan?
Well, Harwich, had maybe the best pitching staff in the league. Their pitching staff was incredible, and that was a huge concern going into the series. But, these guys believe in themselves, and they believe they can hit. Sully is as comfortable on the mound as Smitty is. I mean, they're two California guys. I could say California cool, but they're too nice and humble to be California cool. But they're calm on the mound, and they can get people out. And Sully came back and pitched the second game at Wareham after we had lost the opening game, and we needed him. And he came back the second game today, and we needed him. And what can I say? I mean, he's a freshman. This team is unique in the fact that you look at Trey Holland, a Division III pitcher that shut down Falmouth, and on this stage you look at Richard Brereton last night, a Division III pitcher that if it wasn't for what he did last night, and it was a team effort in 15 innings, there's no way we'd be standing right here today. It's just a unique group of baseball players that happen to come together and really enjoy playing with one another.
Last question of the season, Coach. What are some of the biggest moments that stood out to you from day one to where we are today with this team?
Oh, I always love practice. The first day of practice, when they find out a lot more about me, and my expectations. And, sometimes my expectations are probably too high. And I always hope that some of them don't walk out and leave. That's my first. It's always first day of practice. I love the week of practice before we open up, and then to start to play and kind of see what the pieces are like, and two huge pieces were Adam Oviedo and Nick Gonzalez, because that's your middle infield coming back. off last year. And when I saw those two guys play out there and added Casey on the corner and added Merv on another corner, wow, I thought this special infield, okay? And then I knew our outfield was built with some speed and some power. So I began to see that, and it took a game at Hyannis one night when it was kind of close, and all of a sudden we exploded and the bats started to go, and I said, we got a chance. And then to try to mold the pitching staff together, I think was our toughest, because after we lost 3 starting pitchers, I think that was it was energizing, it was challenging, and it was just, it was exciting to me. It was hard. But these guys, again, different people stepped in there. And I think the final part was when we came back and beat Wareham, I had a good feeling. I thought we had a chance to win it all.